Okay, ma'am. We'll start on time, so others will join in the meantime. Okay. So, hello everyone, and very good evening to all. I am Sujit Nair, the co-founder and the director of technical operations with Spectratix Pharma Private Limited, which is based in Pune. Through our education and training arm, which is called as Pharmagyan Academy, we present before you the Spectratix Knowledge Series, which is actually a series of talks on different topics related to pharma and associated fields. Through this series, we are trying to keep everyone associated with us, updated with the latest in the field. What we do is every Saturday we have a specialist who take out time from their busy professional and also personal schedule to share their expertise and knowledge with us. So today's speaker is an inspiring leader in pharmaceutical and medical device space, bringing over 18 years of expertise in toxicological risk assessment, regulatory safety evaluation, and product stewardship. I'm really happy to welcome Snehal Unune ma'am to this session. She is currently the subject matter expert with Tata Elxsi, and she has previously worked with Johnson and Johnson, Lupin Biotech, Panacea Biotech, and Suven Life Science. With a deep understanding of global compliance frameworks like EU MDR, your US FDA, ISO 10993, and chemical regulations. I feel she's an expert and she's also a master in the art of turning complex challenges into opportunities of growth. So she's also a certified project management professional. She has successfully led many cross-functional teams, shaped regulatory strategies, and delivered scientifically rigorous solutions that empower business to thrive while ensuring patient safety. So if you go through her journey itself is a testament of how knowledge, leadership, and passion can drive innovation and open doors to limitless possibilities. So she is the right person and to talk about the topic MedTech Roadmap, regulations and careers demystified. I am really thankful to Snehal ma'am for accepting our invitation on talking on this important topic. It's all over to you, ma'am. Please take over.
Yeah, thank you, Sujit. Thank you for your introduction. And hello all. Good evening. And I hope this evening is going to be very good for you all. Before going into much ado, I think we should start with the presentation. Let me share my screen. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So hello everyone. As the topic itself says, that we are going to talk about MedTech, and MedTech means medical technology. It is a very emerging field, and why I say so is because it is a highly regulated field, and the regulations keep on evolving based on the current understanding around the scientific background of devices, materials, processes, and everything. And so when we talk about who all can be part of this particular industry, that's a kind of a mystery because it's ever evolving. So the roles keeps on changing, and that's why we say that it's a mystery. And with today's this particular session, we will navigate through the approval processes for the medical devices and also see what all different growth paths are available for professionals seeking their career into this particular field. So let's start. So to introduce you, what is MedTech? It is medical technology that is applicable in very other sections in our life, and it encompasses broadly diagnostic devices, right from the MRI scanner to CT scan to X-rays, to therapeutic devices like pacemakers, stents, the cardiovascular stents, then implants for bone healing, as well as dental implants, so many and so forth. The digital health solutions like the telemedicine platforms, the wearable health monitors that enhance the healthcare accessibilities and monitoring, so as to give data for the healthcare providers to seek the status of the health of a particular patient. Then coming to the laboratory tools like the PCR machines, the analyzers, then for robotic technologies, we right now have surgical robots that can enable precise diagnostic and minimally invasive treatment. So the recovery for a particular patient becomes quicker and faster with less pain. Then we talk about AI and data driven innovation. By far, with all the growth and the development that is happening in scientific field, we now have huge amount of data, and when this data is available for and it is then matched with the capabilities of AI, the medtech can then leverage all these data analytics to improve the disease predictions and personalize the treatments for patients. And let's go further with this thing, that when we talk about regulation and medtech being a regulated field, why actually and regulatory oversight is required in this particular industry. So first and foremost is the performance assurance. That means that when once a device claims that a pacemaker says that it will regulate the heart rhythm, it should do so without harming the patient. And so to ensure the device function that is intended through testing and validations. Then the second reason for the regulation to control are the quality standards, because when we talk about health and it is directly related to human life, then everything that goes into it has to be of a certain quality. And then there are global regulatory standards like ISO 13485 and different regulatory framework across globe. Through these two things, like the performance assurance and quality standards, we want to reduce what? The risk. And risk in a particular device can actually come from anything that is part of that device. Say, for example, the material from which the device is made, the manufacturing processes through which the raw material is then converted to a final finished device, through the packaging, how the device is packaged, in what all material it is packaged, to the final storage processes, the sterilization processes. So everything contributes to what particular risk a particular device can have. And when we say we manage the risk, that means we rather try to minimize the risk for the patient, because as we all know, there is nothing in this life that comes without a risk. So is a medical device. And once we manage a risk, what we ensure with all of these things is the patient safety. Then we prevent the harm to the patient that can come with a defective or an unsafe device. And with doing so, we gain the public trust. And that means that the patient then has a grown confidence in the healthcare system. And so the outcome, the health outcome that we are aiming for a particular patient can be achieved without without lesser errors or lesser chances of failure. And with the data that is generated across the development of all these things throughout many years and many decades for now, now we have the data available, and that data is then be utilized for newer therapies, advanced technologies to create predictable approval pathways, and while enforcing accountability for each and every risk that a device can have throughout its life cycle. Then let's see that what all regulatory frameworks are available in today's era for these medical devices. Now here you can see a global map. I would say this is a regulatory global map, and we are looking at various regulatory bodies across different geographical locations. Right, we start from US FDA to Health Canada to the European medical agencies, Swiss Medic, MHRF, CFDA, the Japan PMDA, and to Australia TGA to India CDSCO. But all of these regulatory bodies, they have their own specialized and rules that is governed by the genetic makeup of the patients that are residing in those geographical locations, the scientific understanding, and the market acquisition levels of a particular medical device in that particular location. So, starting from, as you can see, there are different points that I have captured here. So, for US FDA, the QMSR is always aligned with ISO 13485. Since 2026 onwards, this is going to be an manual implementation in FDA. The FDA gives the approval for marketing of a medical device through three different pathways, that is 510K, PMA, and the de novo pathways. They are more into the unique device identification codes, cybersecurity, and the control over the documentation of these devices. While the European front, you can see the CE marking or the marketing authorization requirements are mostly mandated by the UDAMED. Now, with the creation of the EU AI Act, these obligations would also be mandatory after August 2026. And then we come to Japan, where we can see the devices are divided into 4 classes, and the QMS ordinance is also aligned with the ISO standards. Then for China, the classification of device necessarily comes into 3 classes. There are mandatory type testing. You have to test everything. You have to maintain the GMP throughout the device life cycle in their QMSs, and there is a very strong oversight over outsourcing of any data or material or processes in China. Then we look at Russia. They have segmented rule for the legacy devices, software, as well as the AI-driven software as a medical device. They also have a mandatory color mockups for labels and packagings to ease the identification of certain, high-risk devices over the lesser high risk for anyone who is handling that device. Integration of all the AI-based softwares, they are very much into it. Then we come to Australia, where it is again the QMS is aligned with the ISO 13485. They have the Australian registry for therapeutic goods governing all the approval processes in Australia. In India, now we have the EU MDR based controls that will be implemented. We have Sugam automation system that is again active from 2025, and the standards for around 214 such devices is in place that are been marketed in India. So when we look at different geographical regulations, but the global framework does define some common things. When we say common things, so everything comes from the classification of a device. So what is the class of your device? Class 1 being the least with the risk, to class 3 being with the highest risk. So the FDA again classifies it in 3 categories to ensure appropriate regulatory control for the safety of the patient. The MDR, however, bases its approval process more on the clinical evaluation and the post-market surveillance data, so as to keep their people who are using medical devices safer from any unforeseen risks that can come along with any new material or new product. Then there are global quality standards like ISO 13485 to maintain the quality standard across the processing and the marketing of the devices, to the biocompatibility assessment and the testing that is governed by ISO 10993. It's a global guideline that is there to make sure that the device that is made up of any material through with any process becomes safer for any human use with lesser exposure to the highest exposure. Then we have other global standards governing the sterilization processes, the packaging validation. The packaging is a very important contributor to the safety of the device, the efficacy of the device, as well as the risk that the device can carry along with it. So the packaging needs to have an integrity throughout the storage and transportation process of a particular device. Then we are talking about the global compliance, where they have to comply with the labeling requirements, the documentation requirements, as well as the testing requirements. So when we say a device is tested, what exactly does it mean? So there are certain standards that govern when you say that your device is does not have irritation. That means it should be tested under the approved processes and under GLP regulations, so as to make sure that the testing was done under correct conditions and your data is actually giving the safety that the patient requires. Then the post-market surveillance, they monitor the device performance throughout their market presence, and through the adverse event reporting, they bring out very important data as to where the device fails, in what all population, in what all conditions, so as to give more data for future more safer devices. Then when we say your device is compliant to the regulation in a particular geographical location or a market, what exactly is the advantage or the impact the industry has with the regulatory compliance? The ultimate thing becomes the risk is reduced. So when we say a device carries a risk, that means it does carry a risk. The material can be suitable for a particular human body or not. The process can have certain residues that can appear toxic. You can get an infection from a device. You can get some kind of adverse effects coming in from that device. And when we study everything with the regulatory framework, those all risks are reduced. Then with a better device, which is now safer, the market access is gained. So ultimately, the business outcome. Then the data that is generated throughout throughout a very constructed features of documentation and process flows, we now have a data that can support the innovation for safer and better devices. And through everything, every manufacturing industry has their own process flows, production processes, documentation processes, the quality management processes. But through the regulatory intervention, we can actually pinpoint the loopholes, various hurdles that are bottlenecks for certain processes. And by removing all of those hurdles, we move towards operational efficiency. So a safe device reaches the patient within lesser time. And the ultimate thing is a growth outcome for the industry. So when we say an approval process, this is a general understanding around the approval that happens across the globe. First, you classify your device. What is the risk? The risk classification of a device. Is it a low risk device or a high risk device? Then through the device classification, then you implement the QMS requirement, that what all quality standards your device need to comply to. Then you go for the technical documentation or creation of a DMF file. Then you capture and gather the clinical evidences, trials from the literature, or the organization themselves can run clinical trials to collect more safety data on your devices. The regulatory submission that happen through different regulatory bodies, as you can see here. Then the authority reviews and audits the data that we have seen so far under their review. And finally, when the review is cleared, your device get the marketing authorization. But throughout the life cycle of the device, once the device enters the market, the pharmacovigilance still keeps on going on. As we see, it's a feedback mechanism that is there. Once the device is in market, a very broad level of people started using it, and then they give if at all any adverse effects are there, and that again helps to have a safer and better devices for future generations. Coming to the highlight of this particular session, that is, what all career pathways does this particular industry offer, and what are the skills that a person needs to have to crack a career in MedTech. So the MedTech career is a intersection of four different specializations, I would say, like the healthcare, like courses that are related to pharmacy, healthcare management, medical, paramedical, veterinary, clinical studies. They all have a very good chance of having a very fruitful career in medtech. People coming in from basic sciences like biology, microbiology, animal physiology, genetics, environmental sciences, to also find their implementation of knowledge into this field. Then we have people coming in from technology like biotechnology, data sciences, computer sciences, AI, cybersecurity, cloud computing. They all can actually utilize the data and make it more useful for better therapeutic outcomes. Again, with the innovation that they can bring in. Finally, coming to engineering, the biomedical engineers, those who can design the device, the chemical engineers who can bring in the understanding of chemistry to see if they do not have any chemical interaction with the human body. Electronics, where if any like pacemakers, they do have an electronic connection. So a patient should have a pacemaker inside, should not get a shock. That means an electronic engineer has to make sure that the pacemaker does have that insulation and that level of safety, so as to only give the efficiency of the device but not give any adverse effects. The mechanical engineer, those who look into the production processes, how a material from a raw material can be converted into a particular device. And the instrumentation engineers, where they see what all instruments would be necessary for a particular surgery or for a particular device category, all of that. So all of these people does have a very good chance of a flourishing career in medtech. And when we say they would have a career, the career looks like this. So there are different verticals in which you can enter medtech, and these are just 5 such options. The first one is product and device development, where you design a medical device, you test the prototypes, ensure safety and the effectiveness of the device, working with doctors to solve real clinical problems. The second vertical is coming from the clinical and the regulatory affairs, where you ensure that the device meet the healthcare regulations and are safe for patient use. The third one is that the sales and marketing that is involved with medical devices. You communicate the value your medical device is bringing in to the hospitals, to clinics, and to surgeons. Then the IT and the digital health section. This is again a very newer concept, where the telemedicine, the electronic health records, the AI usage in the diagnostic, and the wearable tech, like the smartwatches that you wear, which monitors your sleep patterns, your breathing patterns, your BP, and all of that. They do have a very valuable data collection that can be utilized for monitoring the health for a particular person. Then we have operations and quality that ensure that the manufacturing process is maintaining quality. The device that is produced from your that organization is reliable, and proposes newer improvements in the process for better production with lesser failures. Then, apart from the classical verticals in medtech, there are certain very new careers. These are rather the things that are upcoming. You might have all heard about the AI wave, and the AI does find its very important place in medtech. As I'm saying that the data is there, now the data can drive actually the how the therapy will develop in coming years. Then we have something called as software as medical devices, where when you say the glucometers, your wearable smartwatches that monitor your daily health parameters, the softwares that actually help for those smartwatches to work, they are also considered as medical devices. Then 3D printed devices. Earlier we used to have a block of metal, then cut it, do the machining work, everything, make it a screw out of it that can be then implanted into a person with a broken bone, right? But then with 3D printing, you have to give your dimensions, the design that you want for a particular device, and what raw material you want the device to be made up of, and the machine, the 3D printer, will actually print it for you in a 3D manner. And so you need not have a block and then have all the whole processing happening there, but a very a shorter version of a device with maybe more safety aspects to it, because the processing chemicals are will be minimal in such processes. Then there was a concept earlier of one design fits all, and that was when the progress was quite limited. But with now newer and newer technologies coming in, now we want devices that are customized for a particular genetic type, for a particular disease comorbidities, and for a particular age range, weight range, body structure, everything. So the customization of these devices is going to be the future of medtech industry. And so apart from the educational courses that you do, your graduation, your post graduation, PhDs, and everything, there are certain certifications, or which should be called as bridging courses, that make you more ready for the industry, are courses like certifications into regulatory writing, the risk assessment throughout the life cycle in a particular phase of a device development, all of that. Even certifications are available for ISO standards, so made be for biocompatibility standards, the chemical characterization standards, or for the quality standards. All of such courses are available, and you can check it out. So finally, coming to the most important part of this particular session, that is, who are the global leaders? Which are the companies who are striving and having a market share, which is, you can see, they are in billions. And the topmost runner in this particular race is Medtronic. It's a very, again, most of them are US-based companies. Johnson and Johnson, Abbott Laboratories, to Siemens Health Engineers, Stryker, the BD. You might have heard about Philips Healthcare, Baxter, B. Brown, to Fresenius. All of these companies, the good news is that they do have their offices and production units in India. India now being the hub of such production units, as well as the technical support that all of the backend team requires, is all outsourced to India. So today and right now is the best time to seek your career in medtech, I would say. And with this, my presentation is done for the day. Now the session is open for your questions.
Any questions? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Anyone? Any specific questions with respect to medical devices or even career opportunities? So this is the right forum that we keep around 15 to 20 minutes exclusively for discussions.
Sujit, I think your video is stuck.
Okay, one second.
Yeah.
The message means you can't hear me, or the video is stuck.
Now the video is stuck and voice keeps on breaking in between.
Okay, I'll just reconnect. One second. I'll just connect from my phone because the laptop is showing some error actually.
I have a question, ma'am.
Yeah, please go ahead, Vaishnavi.
I just wanted to know if a person wants to pursue a career in regulatory,
Mhm.
pretending to medical devices, what are the courses or what is the knowledge series he should attend? Because mostly medical devices are all related to the standard, whereas for drugs, it is like mostly the guidelines is we look into. So, like as you have said, that we need an ISO certification of 13485.
Mhm.
Apart from this, what are the other standards one should have so that he can understand medical device in detail with respect to regulatory aspects?
Okay.
If one has to do an evaluation of an dossier for medical devices class 2, so from your point, what additional
Sorry, Vaishnavi, we lost you there. Okay, so as far as I understood your question, you're talking about specific regulations and what all can be the courses that a person should have the certification in place to work on particular devices in the regulatory forum, right?
Mhm.
One thing is that the market matters, right? Like I said, that the regulations are geographical location specific, country specific, and when so you have to first select which particular market you want to study first, and the regulations will rather keep on changing for all those geographical locations, and so as what all standards would be applicable in that particular geographical location will keep on changing. But thankfully, we do have all the regulations available. The regulatory bodies, they do have a list of such regulations to be studied and known by a person who seeks a career uh, in these particular locations. So, in the end of my particular presentation, you will find the links of such regulatory bodies. You can study those links, see all requirements are there, and as you can see, there are numerous ISO standards, there are ASTM standards, there are so many things available. But then you have to stick to the requirements of that particular location or the device category that you want to study with. They
Okay.
are readily available.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, ma'am, for that.
Okay.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, now I can hear.
Actually, there was some issue with my official laptop. I'll join from my phone itself.
Okay.
Okay. More questions?
I think in chat somebody put something. As we recently got
Yes.
studies. My question is, if this trend continues, what will be the future of animal testing for an asset? Okay, would animal studies be abolished in total? So yeah, as I can see, the ID is M Sorin. So yes, see, now the industry is moving towards animal-free testing. As we have seen that majority of the materials that are now being used in devices, they are all known materials. So when you are using a known material, why you need to again keep on testing it in an animal? When we talk about pyrogens, if they are coming in from microorganism, the sterilization should actually take care of the microbes. Secondly, when we talk about if your material contains a pyrogen, which is the chemical structure that can actually emit a pyrogen that comes from microbes and can give hyperthermia in a particular patient. So if you know the complete chemical composition of a material, again, why do you want to test and extract from that particular material into a rabbit? Again, no need. So now a very good shift is now been happening in industry, where we want to reduce the reliance on the animal testing and more on the data that is available for all these materials so far. Also, with the clinical history of those materials, we do have everything, and that actually supports the safety of a particular material. And I think that sufficiently gives us the confidence that a particular material will not have in this case, the pyrogenicity for a particular material. And so I think now there are newer testings are also coming in, like the new approach methodologies, which is called as NAMS, where some chip on the organ, organ on the chip, sorry, or the cell lines are developed, where you can actually test all of these things with lesser costing to the company, with lesser resources, and which gives faster results. So I think the industry is moving towards safer and more, again, realistic approach towards the risk that a device can carry. And so this change is happening. Yes, it is there.
Yes, there is one more question over there.
Just to finish the point, but if the material is novel, then you have to do all the animal testing, because you have to prove that this is a new material, it was never tested before in humans. So you have to start from animals. So as humans, we are still not confident enough to try a new material, right?
There is one more question that it's on the top by
Right? Yeah.
HPLC and GC.
Okay. HPLC and GC comes under MedTech. Yes, in a sense, you can say that if you have a knowledge of HPLC and GC, that means you know the analysis. So, one of the data that drives the medical device approval process is called as chemical characterization, and where we see the device is extracted into a medium, and then it is analyzed for whatever chemicals are extracted from that device, so as to know what all possible toxicities that particular device can have once it is either implanted or used on a human. So if you have a knowledge of analytical testing things, you will be a subject matter expert or a specialist who will work on that aspect of the device. So from the multi-dimensional aspects of devices, yes, the analytical knowledge does have its implications in medical device field. Answered your question, Ravi?
Anyone else? Any more questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Ravi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Career specific questions. More are technical oriented questions. I felt that career would be the topic that would be discussed more. I'll ask on their behalf. Of course, I'm not starting out as a career, but on behalf of those who are not asking, if someone has to get into regulatory affairs related to medical devices in specific, so what are the prerequisites for that? Understood the question? Was it clear? Yes, please.
I think it is similar to what the first girl she was asking. Sorry, Vaishnavi, I think she was asking a similar question. That
okay, she had already asked. Then it's okay, because I'm in between. I lost the line.
Yeah. But
okay,
then yes, there are different. I mean, the courses are available. There are notified bodies and regulatory bodies. They do also offer their own courses. Then we have private organizations that do have their specific regulatory courses designed for medical devices. And again, because the regulation changes for different countries and different geographical locations, you have to first go and select which geographical location you want to pursue your career in, and then identify the regulations that are active in that particular country, and then you go for the courses. So you can simply not blindly go for any regulatory courses.
Okay. So if someone is working in a regulatory affairs or pharma related products, so if he or she wants to shift to medical devices, any specific separate means, is it different or is it quite similar?
Mostly, see, the science behind every regulation is same. It does not change. The fundamentals will not change for medical device or a pharma product. The regulations are then governed by again, as I said, the risk status of the device. How risky is your device? Is it an implant which has the maximum risk, or it is just a patch of band-aid on your on a cut on your skin? Everything is a medical device. So you have to first identify what is that particular device type, and then the regulation that needs to be followed. But globally, it is identified that ISO standards are the guidelines and regulations that are globally recognized for how safe or what all data that needs to be generated for the regulatory compliance in all of these regulatory bodies. So even being geography specific, now the ISO has given the complete idea about the risk-based approaches for the assessments, different types of assessment, may be from the clinical understanding, the quality understanding, then the toxicological understanding, to the efficacy understanding of a device. So having an understanding about the ISO standards would rather make you more, I think, ready for medical device industry.
Thank you.
Okay, so Namdev, there are many courses, but I think this particular forum will not allow me to, talk about any specific courses that are given by others. But then there are notified bodies. If you search in public platform about notified bodies and see the regulatory courses related to them, you will find a fair data there. Sorry, I cannot be very clear on this particular answer. I think the platform will not allow me to do so. But yes, the name of the certificate should be some ISO standard certification, internal auditor, or single point auditor. So these are the name of the courses that you can search and see who all provide it. Yes, and sorry, yes, you can actually shift to the regulatory affairs because the technical data sheet, which is I think equivalent of a dossier for a drug. In devices, it is the technical data sheet, not data sheet, the technical file that is created for a particular device, which is a DHF, the design history file, where everything from since the design of the product till the clinical evaluation of that particular product, everything is captured in it, and toxicology becomes a very critical part of that particular whole process. And if you have a understanding of general toxicology, you will find applicability even in regulatory affairs.
I think Snehal ma'am is the best example for that. You yourself have shifted from toxicology to.
Yeah. I come from pharma background, basically with pharmacology and toxicology as my specialization, and then I shifted to the regulatory toxicology in medical devices. The shift is real. You can do it.
In fact, having a knowledge of any specific field helps you when you are entering into regulatory, isn't it?
Yes, because regulatory, I think, is an umbrella approach to any specialization, because regulation in itself cannot be a specialization. Regulatory governs how the data is managed, how the data is collected, how processes are set, so as to make everything standard. So when you do it and I do it, the result should be same. That is how the regulation works. So yes, as I said, it's an intersection of many specializations into it.
Okay.
Ultimate thing depends on your learning. You should be ready to learn each day, every year, because
Means remain updated with respect to.
yes.
Okay. And any use of AI these days?
The AI is the buzzword now. You say AI, and I think the company should be ready to take you. Because yes, the question about which Sorin was asking, that why the testings are no longer being asked by certain regulations or certain standards, because now the data is sufficient to prove the safety. And when you use AI, you are rather reducing the redundancies and the repetitive nature of a data driven work, because data is huge. There are big data available, and if you want to model some data out of it, some kind of concept out of it, you need to understand the basic AI behind it. And AI has become a very useful tool for people coming in from all backgrounds, may it be an engineer to a technology person to a healthcare person. Everybody can make a very good use of AI to reduce. I would rather say it. I don't know how you people would take it. The PPT that I have prepared is made by AI. So I have used the assistance of AI, asked them that what good presentation slides are available. Can you prepare it? So you give a data to an AI, and AI can be your very good friend in this fast changing world. And right now we need everything very quickly. So the delivery is 10 minutes. We rather need everything very quickly. And AI can be your really good friend in all of these fast changing things that are happening around you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any more questions specific? Yes, we had some good questions, right?
Yes.
Okay. If there are no more questions, we'll conclude the session. I guess I have to do the vote of thanks also. Thank you so much, ma'am, for readily accepting my invitation and coming up with a wonderful topic, which is the need of the hour. You know it because this medical devices, regulatory affairs, everything is getting heated up, especially in India also. So I'm really thankful that you took out time, especially on a Saturday. So means everyone keeps saying that why you keep these sessions on Saturdays. So these are this is the time when most of the candidates are available, and we also have some time for discussion. That's why we keep it on a Saturday. So thank you so much, and also I'm very thankful to the participants who took part actively, and wonderful questions. As I already said, the questions that came out means they were able to understand the topics that you put forward. So we will see you on next Saturday with another topic and yet another expert, and that's how we will keep discussing things, and hope that Snehal ma'am comes back with yet another topic, and we will discuss more about AI in regulatory
I'm
affairs.
happy to join you all back. And thank you, Sujit, for this opportunity and allowing me to speak my mind here. And thank you, everyone, for being a wonderful audience. And I hope to see you all next time.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Have a
Happy weekend.
bye. Happy weekend.
Bye bye. Thank you.